Hello, and welcome back to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be a phenomenal day. This third episode in our CALM CLINICIAN series. And I just love bringing this incredible work to you because of who you are. You are literally putting smiles on children's faces on a daily basis. You are healing people. You are helping people who are in pain. You are supporting your patients. Every single day, you're changing lives. You're leading a team. You're doing the most incredible work. And what I wish for you more than anything is for you to see yourself the way that others do, which is such a gift to this world, such a gift to your patients, such a gift to your team, such a gift to your family. What you're doing is incredible. It's the most altruistic thing we can do is help others feel better, heal, recover, guide them towards health, feeling good in their bodies so that they can go out there and live this beautiful life. And that is what you are doing. You are a healer. And the whole purpose behind the CALM CLINICIAN series is having you realize how incredible you really are and giving you the tools and the practices so that you can have that remembering every single day. Because when you feel good, I know that your impact is greater. When you recognize the gift that you are to your patients and your community and your family, you show up in a completely different way and your impact is even greater. So if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes of the series, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to the last 2 episodes. And if you're here today, please know you're exactly where you need to be. And this message is for you today. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing. I know you don't hear that often enough. Thank you. Thank you for dedicating your career to taking care of other people. Thank you for putting your heart towards the patients you care for. Thank you for answering the calling to serve your community. And most importantly, thank you for recognizing the importance of taking care of yourself, because I know that's why you're following this podcast. This is the most important gift you can give your patients, your team, your family, is taking care of you. So in the last 2 episodes, I introduced this PAUSE acronym. And just the concept of pause, I want to reflect on again, because without pause, we lose greater insight. It's the practice of pausing that puts you back into the seat of power of your own feelings, of your thoughts, of your beliefs, and of your actions. And I know it's so easy to just get up out of bed and do the same routine and rush through the morning and jump in the shower and put on some music and rush downstairs and eat your breakfast and go out the door and rush through the day and rush through lunch and see your 60 patients or your 5 patients and rush through And so as we're doing this rushing through without pausing, you're missing the magic. So if you take nothing else, take the acronym PAUSE and give yourself that gift. It's not just an incentive to implement rest, which, oh my gosh, I don't care who you are, you need more of. As a doctor, a dentist, a healthcare provider, you need more rest, and the only person who can give you that permission is you. Okay, we'll start right there. So yes, pause allows that, little micro rests throughout the day, but pause also allows you to gain awareness. There's this beautiful parable my good friend and mentor, Tracy Litt, shares. I'm going to share it with you. There were these 2 fish swimming along, having a great day, and an older fish swims towards them and says, "Hey boys, how's the water?" And keep swimming and they look over at each other. I'm just picturing these two teenage fish because I have three teenagers in my house right now. And I can just picture the look they're giving each other right now, right? The eye roll. And they swim on a little bit. And then the one fish turns to the other and goes, "What was up with that guy?" And the other one says, "Yeah, what the heck is water anyway?" Boom. We don't even realize the water we're swimming in. We don't even realize the emotions that we're experiencing throughout the day. All we recognize is the burnout and the exhaustion at the end. But when we pause and pay attention, guys, that's the sweet spot. That puts us back into awareness. Oh my gosh, I'm in water. And so just the acronym itself will give you an enormous gift. Let's walk through the next two parts. The P in pause was paying attention to your body. What? Another thing we seem to forget about. And in the last episode, I really talked about paying attention to your body's needs. And I want to expand on that today to pay attention also to your body in terms of your emotion, because your emotion lives in your body. And it's like, if we're ignoring our body's need to pee, then we're definitely ignoring the emotions we're experiencing throughout the day. So in that pause, if you could give yourself a moment to recognize the emotion, and this is where the A in pause comes in. So the P is just paying attention to your body, just paying attention. What am I experiencing in my body? What am I feeling? And then A, assign. A actually stands for 3 A's: assign, acknowledge, and affirm. But we're going to start with the assign. And what I'd love for you to do is just assign the name of the emotion. Assign what you're feeling. Give it a name. And this is so important. I'll share with you an experience I had in practice. I was treating patients. I was, having a great day and going through the motions and definitely enjoying my morning. And my HR expert in the practice, she came and she said, "Can I please talk to you for a moment?" And she had a conversation with me. And I said, "Yes, of course." We closed the door and we had this moment. And she had a conversation with me where she was telling me that I had made her feel a certain way. And as a leader, I want nothing more than my team to feel empowered. I'm always lifting them up. I'm always congratulating them and thanking them and giving them so much support. And she was sharing with me that something I had said didn't sit right with her and made her feel not good. I was so off the rest of the day, but the conversation continued and we talked about, I was very grateful to her. I said, "Thank you so much for letting me know, and thank you for telling me how you feel." Of course, as a leader, I want to always validate their emotions and validate how they feel. And I felt so off for the rest of the day. I couldn't let this drop. I want to share with you how I used pause. Instead of just pushing through and keep going, because what I noticed was I was being distracted. Haven't you had that experience where you're like, "Man, I'm just not really with this patient. My head is somewhere else. I'm not really with this, lab prescription. My head is somewhere else. I can't seem to, get to things. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling short and snippy. I'm feeling something." And you notice that you're distracted. That's the moment where you get to say, what is it that I am feeling? The assigning the name of the feeling is so important because it validates it. Instead of it just hanging out somewhere in your head or in your heart or in your body and you don't really know what's going on, you're just feeling scattered, you're feeling disorganized, you're feeling uncomfortable, you can't quite put a name to it. P, pay attention to your body. A, assign it. What was I feeling? And in that moment, I realized, oh my gosh, this is fear. I'm feeling scared. And the importance of recognizing that is so big because it gives ourselves permission to have the emotion. We're doctors. but we are humans first. And human beings feel feelings. We are not devoid of emotion. When we pretend we are, we lose our power. But when we give ourselves permission to feel a feeling, when we give ourselves permission to acknowledge, that's when our little inner child feels seen. It's such a big part of healing it. Pushing it aside, pretending it's not there, telling yourself it's not professional, I'm a leader, I should be over this, I've had years of therapy, I shouldn't be feeling this way. All that does is it perpetuates it. It pushes that emotion down. It's like pushing down on an inflated ball, like, one of those beach balls, trying to push it underwater, and it just keeps popping up. But by naming it, we stop pushing down on it. We let that ball rise to the top and float on the water, and we stop pushing it down and efforting. Imagine this, 3 days away from work, 3 days away from your regular life, from your family, from the day-to-day hustle and bustle, to just rest and reconnect with you. Here's the truth. Nobody knows you like you do. Nobody knows the joys and the sorrows and the fears and the frustrations and the stresses and the overwhelm and the exhaustion and your patience and your team and your family. Nobody knows what you're going through better than you. Nobody knows what brings you joy and fuels you and fulfills you. Nobody knows your dreams and desires like you do. And the secret to how to access that beautiful wisdom inside of you, the guru inside of you, waits for you at the Empower Her retreat. This incredible retreat happening this October 17th through 20th is an opportunity for you to fall back in love with yourself, to identify your directional compass, and to lean into trust, self-trust, the trust of that inner wisdom. www.empowerherretreat.org. Join us there. Sign up. There are only a few spots left. This is your opportunity to change the direction of your life. Oh, wow. I'm feeling fear. Naming the emotion. And then acknowledging what is the emotion underneath the emotion. So I went straight to fear because at that point I realized I knew my body really well. But sometimes there's an underlying emotion, and that's what the second A, acknowledge, is. So one of the feelings that I might have felt in practice was frustration, right? Like, oh my gosh, I look around the corner and I see, several team members are chit-chatting and there's patients standing at the desk waiting to be checked in. And this one front desk, the receptionist, is overwhelmed. And I see some other people just kind of like hanging out, not helping her out. And the line is getting longer at the front desk. The first thing I feel, frustration. Again, pause. Pay attention to my body. What is this happening in my body? Awareness, assigning the name. Oh, this is frustration. I'm feeling frustrated right now. And then the second A is acknowledging. What is the emotion underneath? Is there a gentler, closer, more fragile emotion underneath? Frustration is one of those emotions that's very outward. It's very aggressive. It doesn't make us feel good. But there's always a soft underbelly emotion. And once again, those emotions that are the soft underbelly tend to be the ones that are of like grief, sadness, fear. And what I realized underneath frustration was fear, right? That thought, that feeling like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think if they're standing in line and they're getting frustrated themselves? Like, I've got a doctor's appointment. Here I am standing in line. And, what is this running this business? Is this a bad business? My fear went to, my patients. My fear went to, am I not a good leader? My fear went to, are they taking advantage of me? Am I not noticing that my team members are not great team members. Acknowledging what is the emotion underneath. And then the third part is affirming, identifying the thought behind the emotion. And I just shared with you a couple of the thoughts that I recognized. So when you identify the emotion underneath, that fear, well, what am I scared of? Feeling frustrated, yes. And the underbelly, the soft underbelly emotion underneath that is fear. Well, what is driving the fear? What thought is driving the fear? And this is so precious. This is when we start to find the golden nugget. This is when we recognize the water we're swimming in, is identifying the thought. And for me, the thought was, I'm not a good leader. I'm not a good business owner, right? Because I'm worried about my patients, what they're thinking about standing in line. I'm worried about my team members, if they're being good team players. I'm worried about the overwhelm. I'm worried, I'm maybe even fearing that this whole business is going to go down in a big ball of flames. How quickly our thoughts spin down into this rabbit hole of hell, right? At the end of the thought is always, I'm going to die. However, the thought, I'm not a good leader, I'm not a good business owner, that is the water we're swimming in that we're not even aware of. Not even aware of. So I invite you to use this assign, acknowledge, affirm as the A in pause, assigning the name of the emotion and acknowledging, is there a softer underbelly emotion underneath it? And then affirming it, what is the thought that fed that emotion? Every emotion is fed by a thought. Every emotion is fed by a thought. And we don't know always the thoughts we're thinking. Why? Because we have 60,000 of them a day. 60,000 thoughts happen in your mind every single day. It's not possible to be aware of every single one of them. However, with pausing, we can be aware of our emotion, especially the ones that we don't love feeling. The disempowering emotions, the emotions that make you feel not great. But when we can assign that emotion a name, now we can walk it back and realize what was the thought that was feeding that emotion. Because every thought feeds an emotion. Every single one. Some of them are subtle. Some of them are scary. Some of them are loving. Some of them are wonderful. When I think the thought, today is going to be a great day, I feel great. That's why I incant it to myself every single morning. Today is going to be a great day. And then I feel the feeling of it because I want to start my day feeling great. Because when I feel good, I can do good. You know the drill. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have thoughts during the day that aren't disempowering, that don't lead to disempowering emotions. Literally, they've done research on this, and some studies show 80% of our thoughts are disempowering. Notice I don't love to use the word negative or positive because I don't want to judge them. It just makes you feel lower level. It makes you feel disempowered. 80%. So how much could we raise our energetic vibration, feel better, if we were aware of the water we're swimming in? So by assigning that emotion a name, you are giving yourself awareness. Because here's the great idea, the great thought is, when you recognize the emotion and you can identify the thought, you realize, oh, it's just a thought. It's not real. It's just the thought I'm thinking. In that moment, there's no danger. There's only a thought. And that thought is usually attached to a memory of something that was really painful. And your body's like, oh my God, I know this. This happened to us in the past and it's about to happen again, right? Or it's attached to a future prediction, a fear, a worry, and anxiety in the future. But the truth is, in the moment, all it is just a thought. Just a thought. And that thought is pulling you towards a feeling. And when we identify the thought, now we have something to work with. Now we have something that we can empower ourselves with. And I'm going to share with you in the next episode what the next step is. But for right now, the simple awareness is your superpower. Because it isn't even the event that's driving the emotion. The event is giving you cause to think a thought, and it's your thought in your mind that is your choice. Ah, that's exciting. We'll get to that next time. It is the thought that you're having in your mind that is your choice that is causing the emotion you're feeling. And we can't change what we're not aware of. We cannot change that which we are not aware of. So becoming aware and literally assigning that emotion in your body a name, identifying if there is an emotion, a vulnerable emotion underneath it, and then recognizing what is the thought that I just attached, that I just had that fed that emotion. Now you're the fish, recognizing you're swimming in water. And it's powerful. It's powerful. So I'd love for you this week, as you're going into your work week, I'm asking you to choose to pause, to pay attention to your body, because sometimes we're having these feelings and things are happening in our bodies, and all we know at the end of the day is we're exhausted, but we missed all those data points throughout the day. Or all we know is, oh my God, my neck and my back is killing me. And we tell ourselves that's just from ergonomic positioning. And I'm here to tell you, you're probably holding your body in so much tension because of the emotions you're feeling. And that's contributing to it too. Right? Athletes do the same movements over and over and over, and they know how to manage that. We walk on our legs the same over and over and over. We know how to manage that. We're not getting exhaustion in our legs from walking. We're not getting strains in our legs from walking. So we should be able to take the teachings of ergonomics, sitting correctly, ergonomically, paying attention to your body, paying attention to when you're exhausted or hungry or need to pee, and also paying attention to your emotions, because your emotions are also going to impact your body. Taking care of your body, such an important component of our overall health. Paying attention to your emotions is a big, big part of that picture. Sometimes we just completely go blind to. So in this series, I'm putting you back in your seat of power. And your own awareness of how you're feeling, nobody else can know. There's no coach, there's no therapist, there's no guru, there's no fortune teller that knows how you're feeling. Only you do. When you give it that assign, when you recognize, what am I feeling right now? Acknowledging that emotion, and then having the affirmation of the thought. What was that thought that I just had that's affirming the feeling? It's a superpower. It's a superpower. This is so exciting, guys. I'm so excited to have you on this journey. I am so excited to be sharing this with you. You are going to be blown away by what you uncover over the next couple weeks as we do this series. Recognizing your thoughts, that's next level. That's next level. As you go into your day, I'm offering you, inviting you to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace at every step. Give yourself compassion and grace no matter what emotion comes up. Do not allow yourself to beat yourself up or judge yourself for it. Every single emotion is welcome. You are a human being. And here's the truth, guys. We cannot avoid some emotions and feel others. There's no feeling happy all the time. If we're constantly numbing ourselves from feeling the uncomfortable emotions, we don't get to do one without the other. In order to feel amazing and happy and experience the joy of life, we have to allow ourselves to recognize and give ourselves permission to feel all those uncomfortable emotions as well. They're beautiful. And actually, there's so much to learn about ourselves in those uncomfortable emotions. The happy ones are fun and easy, but the learning, the discovery, the true growth, that happens in the uncomfortable emotions. When you give yourself permission to feel those feelings, now you're on the path to even greater awakening and growth. I honor you. I honor you for having the courage to recognize the water you're swimming in. You're doing amazing. And remember, when you feel good, that is when you can do good. Bye-bye. Hey, beauty, if you enjoyed this episode, then like and subscribe to the show and receive this beautiful message of empowerment, remembering what you are capable of and the purpose you serve in this world every single week. And if you know of a colleague who needs this message, share this episode with her. This is how we raise the collective in healthcare, reminding one another and supporting one another. Community is the answer. This is how we grow it. And lastly, I invite you to a phenomenal in-person event this October 2024, the Empower Her Retreat, exclusively for women in medicine and dentistry on the beach. It will change your life. And I cannot wait to see you there. Check out the details in the show notes and have a phenomenal day remembering that you are enough.